How to improve your listening skills. Lena felt a deep frustration, a heavy weight on her shoulders whenever English lessons began. She yearned to understand fluent conversations, to express herself freely, but the words seemed to vanish before she could grasp them. Her dreams of exploring the world felt distant, locked behind a language barrier she couldn't break. This struggle was real. Traditional textbooks felt dry, their grammar rules rigid and uninspiring. Lena often wondered if she was simply not good at languages. Doubt crept into her mind, whispering that perhaps some people were just born with an innate ability to pick up new tongues effortlessly. This was not her. Then, one quiet evening, she stumbled upon an online community dedicated to learn English through stories. Intrigued, she clicked, finding a treasure trove of narratives, fables, and short tales, all presented in simple, engaging English. A new spark ignited within her. She started listening. Not to complex news broadcasts or academic lectures, but to these gentle, narrated stories. At first, it was challenging to catch every single word, but she focused on the overall plot, allowing the rhythm and intonation of English to wash over her consistently. This practice, she soon discovered, was how to improve your listening skills effectively. Her ears began to attune themselves to the sounds, the subtle nuances, and the natural flow of spoken English. She wasn't just hearing, she was truly listening for meaning. As she consumed more stories, something remarkable happened. Words she had only seen in isolated lists or flashcards began to appear naturally within context. The stories painted vivid pictures, giving life and meaning to previously abstract vocabulary terms. This was how to learn words in a way she had never considered before. Rather than rote memorization, words became characters in a drama, their definitions revealed by the unfolding plot. She started connecting new words to existing knowledge. She also found that reviewing the stories, listening multiple times, helped immensely. This repetition solidified new vocabulary and phrases in her long-term memory. It was truly how to remember words effectively, without endless drills or boring exercises. Soon, she found herself anticipating outcomes, predicting vocabulary, and even silently correcting the narrator's pronunciation errors in her mind. Her comprehension soared, and the frustration she once felt slowly started to dissipate, replaced by genuine excitement. But Lena knew listening was only half the battle. The thought of how to talk to anyone in English still filled her with dread. Her tongue felt heavy, her mind blank, whenever she tried to form a sentence in front of another person. The stories, however, had given her a new confidence. She began to mimic the narrators, repeating sentences, practicing intonation and rhythm. She started talking to herself in English, describing her day, narrating her actions, and even debating imaginary scenarios. She found an online language exchange partner, a friendly woman from Canada. Their initial conversations were halting, filled with pauses and corrections. Lena's fear of making mistakes was still a powerful barrier she needed to overcome consistently. Yet, the stories kept her motivated. She recalled how the characters in her favorite tales faced challenges head-on. If they could overcome dragons and solve mysteries, she could surely conquer her shyness and speak English with confidence. This brave step into real conversation was why you should practice speaking. It pushed her beyond her comfort zone, forcing her to retrieve words and construct sentences on the fly. Mistakes became learning opportunities, not failures anymore. Each spoken word, each awkward pause, each breakthrough in communication built her self-assurance. She realized that practice wasn't about perfection, it was about progress. Every conversation fueled her desire to keep going forward relentlessly. The journey of Learn English was no longer a chore, it was an adventure. She understood why you must listen deeply, recognizing it as the foundation for comprehension and accurate pronunciation, absorbing the natural flow of the language. And why you should practice speaking became equally clear. It was the crucial bridge from passive understanding to active fluency, the only way to truly internalize the language and make it her own, expressing unique thoughts. One day, Lena encountered a tourist struggling to find directions. Without hesitation, she stepped forward, offering assistance in clear, confident English. The words flowed effortlessly, a stark contrast to her previous struggles. The tourist's gratitude was immense, and Lena felt a surge of pride. This wasn't just a language, it was a connection, a tool for helping others and experiencing the world in a richer, more meaningful way than she ever imagined possible. She realized that her love for very interesting story formats had transformed her entire learning process. The engaging narratives provided not only vocabulary but also cultural context and natural conversational patterns, making learning fun. Her vocabulary grew exponentially, not through memorized lists, but through contextual understanding within captivating plots. She could now use new words appropriately, understanding their connotations and collocations, enriching her expression daily. Lena started exploring different genres, detective stories, romantic comedies, historical dramas. Each new story broadened her linguistic horizons, introducing her to new accents, dialects, and expressions with incredible variety. She discovered that learning English wasn't about being perfect, it was about being understandable and confident. The occasional grammatical slip or mispronounced word didn't stop her from communicating effectively and making connections with people. Her listening skills sharpened to an incredible degree. She could now follow fast-paced movie dialogues without subtitles, understand complex instructions, and even appreciate the subtle humor in English podcasts, truly absorbing everything. The confidence gained from her listening prowess also bled into her speaking. Knowing she could understand others made her less anxious about her own pronunciation, allowing her to speak more freely and spontaneously, feeling empowered. She actively sought out opportunities to speak, joining online forums, participating in virtual meetups, and even volunteering at local events where English was primarily spoken. Every interaction built her fluency and comfort levels. The fear of judgment, once a crippling force, had dwindled to almost nothing. She embraced mistakes as essential steps on her learning journey, understanding that every misstep brought her closer to mastery and self-improvement. This holistic approach to how to learn English had truly changed her life. It wasn't just about grammar or vocabulary, it was about immersing herself in the language, finding joy in the process, and making it a part of her daily routine. She started recommending her methods to friends who were also struggling. Forget the dull textbooks, she'd say, find stories that captivate you. That's the real secret to unlocking your potential and fluency quickly. Her friends were skeptical at first, but Lena encouraged them to try. She shared her favorite story podcasts and audiobooks, explaining how she used them to improve listening and build confidence speaking aloud regularly. One friend, Mark, decided to give it a shot. He chose a fantasy series he loved in his native language and found an English audio version. The initial struggle was real, but Lena's advice kept him going forward. Just like Lena, Mark began to see improvements in his listening comprehension. He started to recognize common phrases and sentence structures, understanding the general gist even when individual words eluded his grasp completely. He noticed that his vocabulary was growing organically, picking up words and expressions from the story's context. This was far more effective than trying to memorize isolated words from a long and tedious list, he realized. When it came to speaking, Mark also followed Lena's lead. He started shadowing the narrators, mimicking their intonation and speed. He even tried narrating his own daily activities in English, building confidence slowly. They often practiced speaking together, discussing the stories they were listening to. These conversations provided a low-pressure environment to try out new vocabulary and practice constructing sentences without fear of judgment. Lena's transformation was a testament to the power of engagement and consistent practice. She had not only learned English but had also discovered a joy in the learning process itself, a rare and valuable achievement indeed. Her confidence blossomed, not just in English, but in all aspects of her life. The challenge of language learning had taught her resilience, perseverance, and the importance of finding methods that truly resonated with her learning style and goals. She became an advocate for unconventional learning, always emphasizing the importance of fun and interest. If learning felt like a chore, she reasoned, it was unlikely to be sustained long-term, so make it enjoyable. Lena's story became a beacon of hope for many struggling English learners. She proved that you don't need expensive tutors or complicated programs to achieve fluency, you just need the right approach and consistent effort. She often reflected on her initial struggles, the frustration and doubt that once plagued her. Now, those memories served only to highlight how far she had come, how much she had grown personally and linguistically. Her advice for how to improve your listening skills always began with stories. Find something you genuinely enjoy, she would say, and just immerse yourself in the audio. Don't worry about perfection at first, just listen. For how to learn words and how to remember words, her recommendation was consistent: see them in action. Words have power when they are part of a narrative, not just isolated definitions on a page or a flashcard. She stressed why you should practice speaking relentlessly. It's scary, I know, she admitted, but it's the only way to make the language truly your own. Don't wait for perfection, start talking today, fearlessly. Why you must listen was equally important in her philosophy. Listening provides the input, the foundation, she explained. It allows your brain to absorb patterns, pronunciation, and rhythm naturally, making speaking easier later. Her journey was indeed a very interesting story, in itself, a testament to dedication and smart learning strategies. From a hesitant beginner to a confident communicator, Lena's path was inspiring to everyone around her. She now confidently conversed with people from all over the globe, discussing diverse topics from politics to pop culture. Her English was not just functional, it was nuanced, expressive, and truly her own unique voice. The world had opened up to her in ways she had only dreamed of before. Travel was richer, new friendships blossomed, and professional opportunities emerged, all thanks to her newfound fluency in the English language. She found immense satisfaction in helping others on their language journeys, sharing her tips and tricks, and most importantly, instilling in them the belief that they too could achieve their English goals, just like she had. Every time she understood a complex sentence or successfully navigated a tricky conversation, she felt a quiet triumph. These small victories accumulated, building her confidence brick by brick, leading to eventual mastery of the language. Lena's story wasn't just about learning English, it was about self-discovery, resilience, and the power of finding joy in the learning process. It was about proving that language barriers are surmountable with the right approach and perseverance. Her advice continued to spread, echoing through online communities and real-life meetups. Listen to stories, speak often, and embrace every mistake as a lesson, she would tell eager learners, always with a warm, encouraging smile. She firmly believed that consistency trumped intensity. A little bit of practice every day, especially when it was enjoyable, was far more effective than sporadic, grueling study sessions that led to burnout and frustration. Lena had truly mastered how to learn English in a way that resonated with her. Her method was simple, effective, and most importantly, fun, proving that language acquisition doesn't have to be a daunting task for anyone. And so, Lena continued her journey, not just as a learner, but as a mentor, inspiring countless others to embark on their own English adventures. Her story became legendary among the language learning community online. The once frustrating task of learning English had evolved into a lifelong passion, a source of endless connection and personal growth. Lena's fluent English was her passport to a bigger, brighter world, full of possibilities.